Hello there, Transformers fans, and welcome to part 2 of the Wreck and Rule collection review. So, part 1, we reviewed the bottom 2 box sets right here, the 2 packs featuring Spindle and G1 Comic Impactor, and the 2 pack featuring G2 Leadfoot and Master Dominus. Really awesome figures so far. Great set of figures. And now we're going to get into part 2. So part 2 features the G1 Toy Colors Springer, which is also the G1 comic colors of the character. The camo repaint of the Prime Universe Legacy Bulkhead, which came way too soon. And Diaclone Colors Twintwist. So we're going to get right into those two. Again, if you haven't watched part 1 yet, please go back and watch part 1. That's where we covered the other 2 packs, and we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start top to bottom here. We're going to get right into Twintwist. So, again, hopefully Top Spin's coming soon. I really doubt that Hasbro is going to do just Twintwist and not do his counterpart Top Spin at some point in the near future. I'm sure many agree with me when I say this box should have had Top Spin in it, not another release of Prime Bulkhead. Again, don't get me wrong, I like Prime Bulkhead, like I've covered in the other videos. I like the figure, but I didn't like it enough for us to get an immediate re-release of it in camo. It was cool. I'm sure there was somebody at Hasbro who was just so excited about the mold that they're like, let's do another one. But it wasn't cool enough to warrant an immediate re-release. So we'll get to that when we cover him. Anyway, Diaclone Twintwist. Here is Twintwist. This is just a repaint of the Titans Return Twintwist figure in the Diaclone colors because, well, the Jump Starters, as they were originally released in these colors before Hasbro imported them for the Transformers market. Now, they didn't make an appearance in the cartoon, of course. A lot of toys in Generation 1 did not make it into the cartoon, but a lot of them did make it into the comics, whether it was the American comic or the UK comic. I don't remember if these guys made it into the American comic until later. I'm pretty sure they were in the UK comic, though. It's been a long time. I mean, the comic came out in the 80s, so anyway. Here he is, and I noticed a really cool thing. Sometimes, you know how companies like to sneak little clues as to what might be coming next. There is a whirl right there. I wonder if Hasbro is going to be re-releasing Thrilling 30's Whirl, or if we're going to get a new Whirl figure sometime in the near future. Because, I mean, if you look at all the box art, there's not really a lot of other clues or figures or allusions to any other upcoming releases or any other characters appearing on here other than the characters in the packaging. But specifically, we do have Whirl in plain view right there. So I wonder if we're going to be getting a new Whirl here pretty soon. I think that'd be pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and get Twintwist out of the box here. And it comes with the handle piece to our Wrecker's hammer for the Wreck and Rule collection, and looks like these are going to be pretty standard to put together. It looks like these spots are going to slot in right here, and then this spot's just going to slot in down there. We're going to assemble this at the end, though. I don't want to just assemble as we go because I want to save that for the end. I think that'll be cool. Alrighty, and then free my boy. Alright, here is Twintwist. And again, he looks really good. I actually really like the Diaclone colors. Honestly, I think I prefer the Diaclone colors on these two versus the regular bright blue and bright white colors that Hasbro went with when they made them back in the 80s, and then of course released them in Titans Return. Just an awesome mold, fun mold. I don't currently have the Titans Return Twintwist in my collection right now. I mean, a lot of people know those figures are very pricey. Those two just shot up in value like crazy. I don't know why, honestly. I don't know why they just shot up in value like crazy, but they did. I mean, both of those figures are around $100 plus individually, so it's wild. But here he is, fully articulated. Head is on a ball joint. Shoulders are on a ball joint. You also have this hinge right here, but that's partially due to transformation. Upper bicep, double jointed elbows, also mostly due to transformation. Nothing at the wrists, really. Waist, hips, upper thigh, double jointed knees, and again, the second knee joints for transformation. Nothing really at the ankles. You can kind of move that foot up a little bit, but that's also from transformation. Also, the knee pads articulate on this guy too. And it is worth mentioning that typically, for those of you who like to collect shattered glass characters, typically in most cases, not all, but most cases, the Diaclone version of the character is also the shattered glass version of that character. And I think that is the case for the jump starters. Can't remember if we've actually officially seen them in any shattered glass media, whether if it was Collectors Club / BotCon or the current shattered glass comic right now, but can't remember, did they appear? No, I don't know. But even though it wasn't shattered glass from the combiner Nexus Prime in Collectors Club, Topspin does have this color scheme. There you go. It's a different Topspin, and also I'm pretty sure he's a Decepticon and a regular one. I don't think he was shattered glass, but there you go. His head does come off and is his own little figure as well. So there you go. He does have a little bit of articulation. The shoulder joints are on a ball joint. Head is on a ball joint. It's the same ball joint for when he's in robot mode. And then you've got a joint at the hips, a joint at the knees, and that's pretty much it for the little robot. We'll go ahead and go right into transformation. So I'm just going to pull this aside. Pull that. There you go. Remove those weapons. All right, we're going to come to the arms first. Open up these panels, flip in those fists, and then kind of accordion with that double elbow joint there, the arm over the bicep, and there you go. You want that all like that. Same thing over here. Open up that panel, kind of accordion it on there in a way, and there you go. All nice and done. And then we're going to flip these tank treads over just to go ahead and do it and get it out of the way. Next up, we're going to untab or unconnect these, because you've got like these kind of like friction tabs that fit over the waist there. We're going to just pull that down, rotate this around, and those little tabs are going to fit into those little slots right there. You're going to have to push kind of hard on this one. This one, I don't know, always likes to give me trouble. There it goes. You'll hear it click into place, but make sure you do get it clicked into place. All right, next we're going to open up the cockpit here, flip down the drill bits. We're gonna bring them all the way down for the moment. That way we can get the hands all the way in. So just on that hinge joint where the shoulders are, get it all the way pushed into place right there. And then we're gonna go ahead and fold up that, and then these right here are going to tab into those little sections like so. Make sure it's all lined. Yep, it is all lined up. Cool. And then you can just close the cockpit, and that's pretty much that section all the way done. Now for the legs are pretty easy. We're going to rotate that waist around, open up these back panels on the back of the leg, fold the feet up, and then you're just going to kind of, with that double knee joint, accordion the legs all the way up to the body of the drill tank. And then you're just going to, with these little tabs in between, line them up, peg them together. Make sure those vents are all the way down on those, what were knee pads. And that is pretty much it. He is now in his little drill tank mode. And it's still a cool, really cool looking mode. Again, I don't know, I just really dig the colors of this one just a little bit more. You can take his little blasters here and you can put them together as one little weapon, and there is a peg. Now, there's not really a central port while he's in tank mode for that peg to go onto, and the reason I say it like that is because you can take a Titan Master or the Titan Master that comes with the figure, and when you put the weapons together, which was a gimmick that they pretty much did with just about every Titan's Return figure, you could line it up with the little pegs there and have him ride or mount the weapon like so, which is why it's kind of a shame there's not really like a central peg hole onto the figure anywhere in vehicle mode, because he's just kind of got to sidecar it, and it's still kind of cool, but it looks kind of silly. So what I like to do if he's in vehicle mode is just take it like so, put those on the sides, which I think is how they depict it on the box too, and just like the other Titans Return figures, he can ride inside the vehicle mode, which is awesome. That was like the coolest thing about Headmaster figures, whether they be from the 80s or the Titans Return re-releases or continued Titans Return uses of molds or play feature. I love the riding inside the vehicle mode gimmick. I love getting multiple figures with one release, and it's just really cool. Now, I will say, while I do overall like the paint job of this one and the fact that they didn't really do a whole lot of casting in plastic and then painting to match that casting in plastic on this figure, luckily, there is a little bit of paint splash on the clear plastic cockpit there on mine. So, not a big deal. I mean, I can just, when I have a moment, scratch that off, probably with my fingernail or something. But paint errors do happen from time to time, and that one's probably not a big common occurrence. That's probably just a little fluke. But I like the little yellows on the vents. It helps break up the red and the blue a little bit. The silver on the blasters as well as on the drills, it looks awesome. I love that even on this one, it has the metallic blue Wreckers insignia rather than just a flat blue. So I like that so far the metallic blue Wreckers insignia has been consistent with the Wreck and Rule collection. And I hope we get more Wreckers in the future outside of the Wreck and Rule collection. I hope Hasbro doesn't just stop with the Wreck and Rule collection, especially with putting Wreckers insignias on Wreckers figures, because it's really cool. It's nice to have this little sub-collection, this additional sub-collection that we keep getting, especially with Legacy. Legacy is all about sub-collections within this huge line, and it's been a really fun ride. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. We're gonna do Bulkhead, and we're gonna save Springer for last because Springer is really awesome. So here's Bulkhead. If you haven't yet, go back and watch the review I did of Legacy RC and Legacy Prime RC and Prime Bulkhead. I did them both in one video just to kind of like, I just didn't really want to split them up. I just felt like it would be good to have them all in the same video. So go watch that if you haven't yet. I think I posted it same day, and even though I recorded it like forever ago. But yeah, go back and watch that video because I covered all of Bulkhead. I'm not going to cover all the weapons and features and all the gimmicks because it's exactly the same as last time, but I will cover transformation and articulation and stuff and paint details. So here he is. Again, the artwork's awesome. It's cool. I just don't feel like it should have been released as Bulkhead. This gives me Bayverse Hound vibes more than it gives me Prime Universe Bulkhead vibes. And I feel like all they would have had to do is change the head sculpt a little bit for it to be, they could have called it Bayverse or Movieverse or something to differentiate it other than calling it Bulkhead, and then I wouldn't feel quite the same as I feel about it right now because I'm just not, I like this figure, but I didn't just love it so much that I wanted an immediate re-release of it. Because this figure just came out, and it's cool, but again, I don't love it so much. And I'm like, please give us an immediate repaint, but in camo this time, you know? And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. Should have been top spin. All right, that's pretty much it for the box. Let's get Bulkhead out here. So Bulkhead comes with one of the hammer faces, I guess, for lack of a better term right now. I'm not quite sure about the proper terminology of what that should be called, so if somebody knows, please throw it in the comment section. Here is Bulkhead, and again, it's basically the same toy. I mean, the shade of green, aside from the camo paint job, is very different. And honestly, I think both shades work really well for this figure. It's just, I feel like Hasbro couldn't decide on which one they wanted more, and the person who designed this figure was just so excited. Maybe he got a good pat on the back, and they're like, you know what? We'll do both for you, buddy. We'll release it in both color schemes because you did such an awesome job on it, because we love it so much. And maybe that's just what happened. I'm all for that. You know, that's cool. I just feel like it was a little too soon. A little too soon. Still, really sweet though. Comes with the same truck cover that transforms into like a little riot shield. Again, I loved this feature of the figure. Comes with the minigun as well, except in blue energon effect, or as a blue energon weapon, and clear translucent blue plastic with some silver highlights or gunmetal gray highlights. It's just in translucent black plastic, and you can still like mount it on his shoulder or something with that side peg, just like you could with the other one if you want to. He comes with another one of those awesome maces that fits over the hand, so you can put it on his hand. And now that we have two of these, I can finally do it with my other Bulkhead. I've been wanting to do this since I bought this figure. Yes! That looks sweet. Dual wielding the Mace Hands. Let's go. It's clobbering time. It sounds like a thing a Bulkhead would say. Clobbering time. I know it's the Thing's catchphrase, but still. So yeah, you can put that on his hand, and one of the reasons I bought this was because, one, I had to review the full set for you guys. I couldn't just buy all the ones I wanted and then not buy the last one because I just got Bulkhead. But I also wanted this for my Transformers Prime breakdown figure because he has an arms micron as opposed to the proper hammer. Now I can give him a proper hammer, so I'm really happy about that. So here is the hammer. Bulkhead just kind of holds it. I don't know why they released him with Breakdown's hammer. It's a mystery to me. I think it's kind of weird that they released him with Breakdown's hammer, considering that's his rival. Maybe it's like a trophy kind of thing, and, you know, just like a triumphant, I have my rival's weapon. Okay, cool. I guess I could see that, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of strange. So anyway, Bulkhead has the same articulation as that other figure. I'm not going to go too much into that, or into it at all, really, because I covered it in that last video. So if you want to see the articulation on this figure, it's exactly the same. Go click on that other review and go watch that. But I will go into transformation so you can see his truck mode, because it does look really cool in the camo. Don't get me wrong, I love the camo. Oh, and they did put the Autobot insignia in the same spot, but rather than just plain red on this guy, it's a metallic blue on this guy. And that Wreckers insignia does look awesome on him. Looks good. He wears it well. Definitely wears it well. Alright. Transformation. Transformation is very simple, guys. We're going to bring that little hatch piece up. We're going to detach those shoulders that were pegged into the side there. We're going to raise the truck cab up. And then we're going to bring his head all the way down up against the back of what was the inside of the truck cab. And then there's the top little hatch right there. You're just going to fold that all the way up and then click it into place. Nice and easy. Next up, we're going to bring that waist kind of out of our way because it's in our way right now. Rotate those shoulder blade kind of panels down all the way. And as you're doing that, make sure you're rotating those shoulder sections where they tabbed into the side of the torso. They're going to tab in to the sides together at the bottom here. Bring those elbows all the way up as far as they'll go. And then we're going to rotate those shoulders about, let's see, that's 90 degrees. Rotate those about 90 degrees, and then bring the truck cab dab down. It's going to tab into place. You'll hear that click like it just did, and that's pretty much the front of the truck all done just about. Next, we're going to bring those spare tires down, spread them, tab them into place, and there's the back of the truck. You got a couple of spare tires for your big military truck there. Next up, we're going to come down to the feet, fold those in. That's all one piece. Nicely done. All right, that's pretty much it. Then we're going to grab the waist here and untab it from that section there. Extend that other piece. And then we're going to rotate that all the way up. This is going to tab into place right there. Rotate that all the way up, tab that into place. Rotate this section all the way down. And then we're going to open up these back panels here. Take out the fuel tanks that go on the side of the truck, close those back up, open that up, take that out. These are on a ball joint, so they rotate really nicely. Get that out. And then let's just go ahead and tab those legs together. And then we're going to swing those hips down, bend it at the knees. Forgot to get that fuel tank out of the way. Bend it at the knees. The fuel tank is going to tab into the back of the truck right there and to the side of his thighs once you have it at a 90-degree angle. So let's go ahead and do that before we try to tab everything to the back of the truck. It'll make it, and pull the wheels off too, but don't actually do that. You can if you want, but don't actually. You might lose them. Getting those fuel tanks is always such a pain. Nice to know that it's consistently irritating, just like with the other release. And then also make sure to take the leg off, but don't actually do that. Come on. Tab in. You know where you're supposed to go. Thank you. What is with the mushroom pegs on the figures for the Wreck and Rule collection? Always coming out of place. I wonder why they're so loose in comparison. Because I don't usually have issues with the mushroom pegs on the figures released in this line with their previous releases. Oh, now it doesn't want to click back into place. So be careful when you take those legs off when you're trying to transform it, because you might have issues putting them back on. Okay, so now that we got that stuff tabbed into place, let's go ahead and tab the fuel tanks. Oh, thanks for coming back off, leg. Go back on. Tab those fuel tanks into the back of the truck. Now we can tab those legs together. Wow, this bulkhead just does not want to cooperate today. Need Ultra Magnus here to help rein this guy in. Alright. We got it. So, now that you got everything tabbed in finally, go ahead and grab the riot shield piece. And this peg is going to peg in right there. This little hatch right here is going to fill up that gap. Like so. And then you can take these little tabs and tab them into the bottom of the legs, like so, to fill in all those gaps. And then you can just fill in the back of the truck with his foot or feet. And there you go. There you have him in his camo military truck mode, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's an awesome figure. This was an awesome figure. I just feel like it should have been an either or kind of situation, or release this guy because it is cool in this color scheme. I do dig it, but release it later. Not in the same year as this figure, and definitely not pretty much right after we got Wave 1. You know, yes, we've had Wave 1 for a few months now, and we're finally starting to get Wave 2, and that's when this dropped. It was around when Wave 2 started dropping. But we shouldn't have got it pretty much immediately after, is all I'm saying. I still like it. It's still cool. I know some collectors are going to prefer this figure over that figure, but I kind of wish we knew this one was coming before that one hit shelves, and maybe that's why Hasbro didn't say anything, because they didn't want to impact the sales of that, even though that's one of the figures I see shelf warming a lot, unfortunately. It's cool. It's cool. I dig it still. I've said what I've had to say about it. There you go. We'll set him aside. All right, last but not least of the Wreck and Rule collection, here we have Springer. So this is a repaint of the Siege mold in the toy accurate colors, and of course he's got the Wreck and Rule insignia on him. Now, this is also the version of Springer that did appear in the Generation 1 comics, both in the UK and the American version, and then later in Regeneration 1 as well, the sequel series to the G1 comic. Awesome, awesome box art again, and that's pretty much it for the packaging. And here is our last piece, the other face to the Wreck and Rule hammer. Very nice. And I forgot to cut him free. So, if you're going to cut your figures free, rather than, you know, spend the time untaping and untying, just please be careful. Make sure the blade faces away from you in case you have trouble with this kind of thing. If you're a kiddo watching, please grab a parent, guardian, or adult you know to do this for you, so that you don't harm yourself. Just find a good loop. Be careful not to scratch or cut the figure as well. Luckily, these are like paper little ties, and they cut pretty easily. There we go. Just about got this guy out of here. That one, I didn't even have to cut. It's nice when sometimes they're put in a way where you don't even have to cut it. Almost got this guy out. And, oh, that one's already done. Okay. Make sure you close your blade properly if you have a blade that opens up like that, and put it away. Okay, here is Springer. Now I gotta tab stuff in so he's in his robot mode, and he looks great. Honestly, images and the box art of this guy do not do this figure justice. Despite me caring about screen accuracy and cartoon accuracy, I actually like this toy way more than this one. And I love this one a lot. But this one just kind of has that same effect. It just has that same effect in person for me, like the Generation Selects Kingdom Galvatron did when they really re-released that mold in the G1 toy colors. Like getting it out and seeing it in person, I don't know, it grabs my attention. I really I can't help but feel excitement when I see it. I just love the subtle shading and tones of the greens on this one. The big bright metallic blue Wreckers emblem just looks so great on this figure. The bright yellow chest plate. The light gray colors, again, this is the same color scheme as the G1 Springer toy. I even like the color of his weapons better. Like this dark gray color on the sword looks a little bit cooler than this grayish blue color they went with the Siege one. He can, of course, wield his weapons just like the other one can. You can dual wield his blasters. You can dual wield his swords. You can put his swords on the helicopter spinny bit if you want, the rotor. Yeah, it's a great and awesome figure. I'm glad we finally got a re-release of this mold, because I know there's a lot of collectors out there who missed out on the Siege Springer figure and have been really needing a Springer in their collection. And of course, Springer is one of the more famous wreckers over the years. Usually when people think of wreckers, they think of Springer, Impactor, probably one of the ones that jumps to my mind is Rack and Ruin. I would love Hasbro a G1 inspired Rack and Ruin toy. It has been so long. We got an Impactor finally in G1 accuracy somewhat. We need a Rack and Ruin. Rack and Ruin would be super cool at this point. If you're watching, Hasbro, Rack and Ruin. Especially, we definitely need a Rack and Ruin toy that's better than the Cyberverse one. As cool as the Cyberverse toy was, it was a very kiddie toy, and of course it was based off of the Cyberverse appearance, not the G1 Comics appearance. So we definitely need a proper Rack and Ruin. Alright, anyway. Articulation head is on a ball joint. Fully articulated shoulders. You got this mushroom peg here, and just like the rest, you pull it right off. Make sure you pull it off, but don't pull off the limbs of your figures. What is with the mushroom pegs in this collection? They just keep coming off on me. In and out on the shoulders, biceps, single jointed elbows, wrist joints, waist, hips, thigh, single jointed knees. As you saw, there's that joint right there in the hinge. That's due to transformation. And then ankle, forward and back on the foot, and side to side on the ankle. He's actually very articulated, and he looks great. I really like this a lot. All right, transformation. He does transform into both his car mode and his helicopter mode, and it is a very tricky transformation for both. So we're going to go into car mode first. What we're going to do is we're going to come over to these shoulders here. We're going to bring this section up and bring this section up as well. And then we're going to bring this whole section back. And then this is going to tab into the back of the fist. And that's that section pretty much all the way done. Same thing over here. Bring that out, stretch that out, peg it in. And then you pretty much got the front fenders of the car all the way done. Unhook those sections from the sides there, bring it all the way down, and then we're going to rotate this section up and open up that chest compartment there. This is going to come all the way up like so. Flip these panels down that were on the sides there, and then we're going to here angle that forward a little bit. Then you can close that, and then you can bring that back into place. There you go. Next up, we're going to come down to the legs. We're going to tab the legs back together. They just kind of click in. You want to bring them in at an angle first, because they don't just straight tab in or overlap like so. There's a little bit of a hook there, so you kind of want to ease them together and click them into place. Next, we're going to flip the feet up like this, and we're going to, on that hinge joint there, rotate them completely around. And that's how you want the feet, the back of the legs for car mode. I almost forgot the fins, the spoiler fins. So this side hinge here does open up when you extend the leg. You can get to it if you pull on it enough. Get like a fingernail, or you know what? We've got tools here. Kind of dig it out, and you do need it for both helicopter mode and car mode. There we go. Do the same thing over here. Get that side panel on that hinge, get that all the way out. Okay, get that all connected back together again, and we're good. Okay, so you want those little side fins out, because I almost forgot to do that. Don't forget to do that. Make sure that these panels are still out like so. rotate this. You're going to bring this section all the way up. This tab right here is going to tab into the side of the inner side of the arm. That's how you know it's fully extended properly, and then it's going to face the inner part of the car right where it should. So you can see what I'm doing, just like so. He does have a pretty tricky transformation. It's engineered well, but it can be tricky. And then you just want to take these two tabs right here. Those are going to tab in right in here into the back of the feet. And there he is in his car mode. He's ready to roll. And now you can add some of his weapons, put his blasters on. And he looks pretty sweet with his blasters on, like so. There's not really a cool place to store the swords. You can put the swords on it, but I think the swords look kind of silly on them in car mode, so I just like to leave them aside. But hey, if you want to display with the swords on the car mode, knock yourself out. Do whatever you want with it. It's your Springer. All right, helicopter mode. We don't really have to change it a whole lot from this to helicopter mode, luckily. All we really got to do is we're going to bring this section back up and kind of out of the way, because we got to come to the legs next. So we're going to refold that section up. We're going to split those legs apart, and then there's a hinge joint right here in between where the thighs go. Extend those out and pull that down. Bring this around, rotate it all the way, because we want these to sit facing each other, like so. And before we do that, do the rest of the legs. Next up, we're going to come over here to the arms. We're going to untab that peg there out of the fist. We're going to bring that out. There's this little piece right here. We're going to fold that all the way out, and then you're going to pull on it. So there's that gap there, and then we're going to rotate it all the way around. Go ahead and plug that fist back all the way in. Rotate this all the way like so. And that's going to be the side of the front of the helicopter. And then just stick the arm back where it goes. Just tab it in like you had it in car mode. And that's all you got to do with that. So we're going to go ahead and bring that out. It's just easier if you do this before the legs. I think it's easier. Flip that out, pull on it, rotate it all the way around, tab it in, keep that panel out, tab it in, tab that back in, and there you go. There's the front of the helicopter pretty much all the way done. Come back to the legs. Next, we're going to bring that and untab that. So you want these all the way extended, like so. And then you're going to tab these sections back together where it's much thinner. Flare this. These hook pieces are going to hook into the underside of the thigh there. I guess we're going to have to untab those arms. There we go. Get that all lined up. We'll go ahead and put those arms back into place. Get them tabbed back where they were. And then those feet are pretty much going to go back into the same place they were in previously. You're going to rotate them all the way around to where they're facing like that. So kind of just use those joints to your advantage. Get that all the way back and rotated to where it's supposed to be. Get those arms where they're supposed to be, and we're going to bring that section back down, tab it back into place just like it was before. And there you have him in helicopter mode. Wait. Oh, I know what I did wrong. You want to tab it in the down here where it was tabbed into the side. Always forget that. Versus the other way. And then fold those panels back up for helicopter mode. Now we can properly tab it in where it goes. There we go. Like I said, well engineered, but transforming in mode to mode is actually really, really tricky in comparison to a lot of the other figures in this collection. Very, very tricky. Okay. And last but not least, we come to the rotors here. Take those swords, peg them into the sides. Make sure they're both not facing the same sides, because that's not how a helicopter blade works. You don't have them facing the exact same way. Peg that into the center, and it spins really nicely. That was the other really cool thing about this, was the spinning. Oh, I disconnected it. I flicked it a little too hard. There we go. And he looks really, really great in helicopter mode. And of course you can plug his blasters basically into the same place. So he can fire on Decepticons from the air, or whatever else he's firing at. It's an awesome, awesome figure. So there you guys have it. There is part 2 of the Wreck and Rule collection. Okay, let's assemble our hammer here. So we got our base. We already folded that and put that together. We've got our facing hammer pieces here. All right, let's assemble our hammer here. Let's fold in these little bits on this side, like so. Take that, we're going to fold in those. Like so. I think that's how we do it, right? It's going to be really interesting. And then plug those into the slots with the letters, the matching letters. Next, we're going to fold in those little bits, fold in those little flaps, fold in those little flaps, fold in those little flaps. And then you're going to just tuck that in. Tuck. 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 Once you kind of get it all properly tucked in and lined up into place, pretty much have it down. There we go. So that's one side all done. Next side, just like this one, except with C. And then we take our other face, do the same thing, fold that in, fold that in. I'm going to go ahead and fold these sections this time, so it makes it easier when I go to tuck them into place. Make sure you follow all of the fold lines on here, because that will definitely help you assemble this thing rather quickly. And then we're just gonna peg each piece in, just kind of work it in as we go. Yeah, that went way easier. So try folding all of the pieces on the fold lines first before you try plugging it in, and that seemed to make it a little bit easier. And then here we go. We've already got this. We already got this in the position it needs to be in. Get that all clicked into place. And here is our Wreck and Rule hammer. And it is awesome. I really like this. I mean, yeah, it's cardboard. I know some people were like, oh, that's kind of silly that it's a cardboard display. I think it's cool. I thought it was a nice little bonus add-in for Hasbro to do that nobody asked them for. They didn't have to give us a cool wreck and roll hammer. I know there's some guys out there who are 3D printing and modeling based off of this. A more solid wreck and roll hammer, and I say go for it. That's really cool. But I really like this. This is a really nice display that Hasbro did for us. Again, nobody asked them to do this. They just kind of did it because I think they thought it was cool, and I really appreciate them doing things that they think are cool, because I think it's cool too. And it makes for a cool display. It's nice and light. You know, if they had made this out of assemblable plastic or pieces, multiple plastic pieces, I would have been worried about it maybe falling off the shelf and breaking. But I'm not worried about, you know, a cardboard piece falling off the shelf and breaking, because it's nice and lightweight, and I could probably just fold it right back together. Now, of course, there's the worry of tearing or something, which, yeah, that would worry me a little bit, but I'm probably not going to display this in a spot where I'm going to worry about it getting torn. Really neat. Really cool piece. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Wreck and Rule collection, where we reviewed all of the Wreck and Rule figures here. Hey, put your arm back on. Quit taking your arm off. Leave your arm on, pal. Okay. Leave your arm off, I guess. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want all the time. Here we go. There we go. There we go. And boom. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for more Bay 12 content. We do all kinds of different stuff here on Bay 12 all the time. DC, Marvel, Turtles, Joe's, all kinds of different stuff all the time. Stay tuned for more. And check out some of our other Transformers content, because we have been reviewing a lot of the other Transformers Legacy figures. We reviewed figures from Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom as well. Not all of those reviews are posted here on the YouTube channel. Those were back on the Bay 12 Facebook page when we were doing live reviews and other things like that way back when. Some of that will be archived and added to the YouTube channel at some point in the future. It will probably be in what's like an archival playlist or something like that. So stay tuned for that kind of content. But we'll see you guys later. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on social media, and stay tuned for our Bay 12 live sales. We do them usually once a month live on our Facebook page. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. Wreck and Rule.